Let's go Dolphins! If you're tired of the same excuses, the same failures, and the same faces leading this team to ruin, then this is the video you can't miss. The truth about what's happening inside the Miami Dolphins organization is finally coming to light, and it's not pretty. Is the locker room already lost? Could this be the final chapter for Mike McDaniel, Chris Grier, and even Tua? Stick around, because what I discovered will change the way you see this team. But before we begin, click the like button only if you're still feeling blue and orange amidst all this sadness. If possible, write something like, "Go Dolphins, we'll get through this." Now, let me tell you what's really going on. Ian Rappaport recently dropped a bomb on NFL Network's game day preview regarding Mike McDaniel's job status. And while he said nothing is imminent, that's exactly the problem. According to Rappaport, Dolphins owner Stephen Ross is planning to be patient with McDaniel, just like he's been in the past. But patience? That's a mistake. That's a dangerous game for a team on the verge of collapse. Right now, there's no urgency from the top, no fire under McDaniel's seat, and that's baffling considering how this team has opened the 2025 season. It's been nothing short of a disaster. Now, if you think this is just reactionary, think again. There's plenty of history with McDaniel to support the frustration. Yes, he made the playoffs in 2 of his first 3 seasons, but come on, he consistently fails to show up when it matters. He beats the teams he's supposed to beat, and falls flat on his face in the big games. Regular season? Postseason? It doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. And the fact that even with Tua Tagovailoa under center, McDaniel still can't find a way to win? That's alarming. Worse, he's lost the locker room. It's plain to see. This team isn't responding to him anymore. Rappaport's words are revealing. Ross likes McDaniel. He believes in him. He gave him an extension. But those aren't football reasons, they're financial ones. McDaniel is still owed more than $18 million across the next 2 years. That's the only reason he still has a job right now. This isn't about belief in McDaniel's vision or confidence in his leadership. It's about the money. And the fans see right through that. And it's not just McDaniel who needs to go. This isn't about one coach. It's about the entire foundation of this franchise. Chris Grier has been the GM since 2016. Let me say that again, since 2016. And in all that time, not one single playoff win. Not one. What other GM in professional sports gets 9 years of runway with absolutely zero playoff success? He's had multiple chances to get it right. He hasn't. And now, the team is spiraling under his leadership. Why is he still around? So here's the situation. The Dolphins are 0-3. And next week, they face the New York Jets, another winless team, on Monday Night Football. If the Dolphins lose that game, at home, in prime time, with a week and a half to prepare, that's rock bottom. That's beyond redemption. And if Ross still refuses to make changes after that, then we're officially in dysfunction territory. But let's talk about the future here. Because if this downward trend continues, it's not just McDaniel and Grier that are on the chopping block. It's Tua. Yes, Tua Tagovailoa. It's becoming painfully obvious he's not the franchise quarterback this team needs. He's been given every opportunity. He has weapons. He has a system tailored to him. And still, he can't deliver when it counts. It's time to seriously question if Tua is the guy. And if he's not, then this rebuild has to start all over again, from scratch. And I get it. Some fans are saying, don't be the team that makes knee-jerk reactions. They don't want to scare off potential coaching candidates by firing a coach too early. They bring up teams like the Panthers, who moved on from Matt Rule and Frank Reich quickly, and now may be seen as unstable. But Miami is not Carolina. We're not a small market franchise flailing for attention. We are the Miami Dolphins, and it's time to start acting like it. If the Dolphins lose to the Jets next week, they're not just dropping to 0-4. They're setting themselves up to land the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Think about that. Right now, they hold the 4th overall pick, and this Monday night matchup could change the trajectory of the entire franchise. If they win, there's a glimmer of hope. If they lose, the tank is on, whether fans like it or not. And we need to talk about the trade deadline. It's coming up fast, November 4th, right after Week 8. The Dolphins' next 5 games are critical. They play the Jets at home, the Panthers, the Browns, the Falcons, and the Chargers. Those are all winnable games. If they go 4-1, maybe McDaniel and Grier survive. Maybe the season isn't a total loss. But if they don't, if they go 2-3 or worse, this team is blowing it all up. Tyreek Hill could be traded. Jalen Phillips, gone. And McDaniel and Grier, unemployed. The next 5 games decide everything. They decide jobs. They decide futures. And they decide whether this franchise continues on life support or finally pulls the plug on an era that simply hasn't worked. Because here's the harsh reality. Even if the Dolphins manage to scrape by with a 3-2 record over the next 5 games, that still puts them at 3-5 heading into the trade deadline. And let's be honest, 3-5 isn't going to save anyone's job. That's not playoff football. That's not even competitive football in today's NFL. That's purgatory. And staying in purgatory is exactly what has plagued this organization for decades. You're not rebuilding. You're not contending. You're just existing, and fans are tired of just existing. The Dolphins front office has a critical decision to make. They either act boldly and accept that this era has failed to deliver, or they double down on mediocrity and lose another year of Tyreek Hill's prime, another year of Jalen Waddle's development, another year of a defense that, when healthy, should be among the league's best. Because if they wait until the season ends to make the tough calls, it'll already be too late. Players will check out, veterans will want out, and the locker room will fully unravel. And speaking of the locker room, Rappaport mentioned it directly, watch the team. If the players stop playing for McDaniel, that's when Ross might finally act. But do we really need to wait for the visuals? Look at the energy on the sideline. Look at the body language after big plays go the wrong way. This team doesn't look inspired. It doesn't look like it believes in its coach. And more importantly, it doesn't look like they believe in each other. Let's not pretend this is just bad luck. McDaniel's inability to win without Tua is a red flag. His inability to win with Tua is a red siren. And the defense, which was supposed to be retooled and aggressive under new leadership, looks lost and out of sync. The team lacks discipline. The team lacks identity. And that is a direct reflection of the head coach. It's not just about XS and OS anymore. It's about leadership, accountability, and direction. And Mike McDaniel isn't providing any of that right now. And then there's Chris Grier, the architect of all of this. He's been here since 2016 and somehow still has the confidence of ownership. Why? Because he hit on a few flashy trades? Because he can accumulate draft picks? Draft picks are meaningless if you can't develop them. He had multiple first-rounders and turned them into a quarterback who's struggling, a left tackle who's inconsistent, and a defense that's perennially underperforming. This roster looks elite on paper. On the field, it's 0-3, soon to be 0-4 if things don't change drastically. Look, nobody wants to be the franchise that's constantly hitting the reset button. But what's worse is being the franchise that refuses to hit it when it's clearly time. And if Ross doesn't act soon, he's going to lose the fans completely. Dolphins fans have been patient, more patient than most. They've endured false hope, empty promises, and constant turnover without results. This was supposed to be the year it all came together. Instead, it's unraveling faster than anyone expected. And the painful irony? The schedule was set up perfectly. The first few weeks included winnable games. They had a primetime matchup against Buffalo to prove their legitimacy, and they flopped. They followed that up with a brutal home loss to the Patriots, a game that should have been a lock. Then came the embarrassment against the Colts, and now we're staring down a do-or-die showdown with the Jets. Jets-Dolphins. Monday Night Football. A battle of 0-3 teams that are desperate to avoid the abyss. And the worst part? This isn't even about pride anymore. It's about survival. A loss in this game puts Miami squarely in the conversation for the number 1 pick. That's how quickly things have fallen apart. And if they do end up with the top pick, that's the nuclear option. Goodbye McDaniel, goodbye Grier, goodbye Tua. The full reset button gets slammed down with force. But here's where the Dolphins stand today. They don't have to be in this position. There's still a narrow path to redemption. A 4-1 stretch heading into the trade deadline changes everything. It buys McDaniel time. It gives Ross cover. It keeps the roster intact. But that means no more slip-ups. Every game from here on out is a playoff game. Every snap counts. And if this team can't